For some time now, we've been exploring the controversial world of the furry fandom, revealing the darker underbelly. And today we'll be unpacking the story of Valorie, who's known as Hypnotist Sappho, a YouTuber whose actions once caused an uproar within online communities. Sappho is notoriously known for openly admitting to zoophilia back in 2021, saying she's not attracted to humans at all and only has an attraction to German shepherds.
I am a zoophile. You did not mishear that. I am a zoophile. I do not have a thing for humans. I am more attracted to dogs like German shepherds.
She was also caught engaging in inappropriate interactions with others, including a documented romantic relationship with a 16-year-old. She has promoted ethical zoophilia and Zeta principles while defending minor attracted persons, and fabricated a story about a 13-year-old follower taking their own life just to manipulate her audience. From her hypnosis roleplay in virtual worlds to a disturbing advocacy for harmful ideologies, Sappho's actions have caused massive outrage, exposed predatory behavior among furries, and raised serious questions about accountability in unpopular online spaces.
Yeah, but we choose this world because the grass is really nice, it's swaying around, it's really comfy.
Right.
It's like a really gentle breeze, and you might even notice like a calming sort of cool.
Valorie, known as Hypnotist Sappho or simply Sappho, was a smaller figure in the furry fandom, but made waves with her brazen zoophilia admission.
I'm a zoophile. I do not have a thing for humans. I am more attracted to dogs like German shepherds.
She used platforms like VRChat, Discord, and YouTube to carve out a space for herself, initially gaining attention for her hypnosis content in VRChat, where she'd roleplay as a hypnotist in a 3D virtual world, often donning a purple lizard avatar.
Yeah, but we choose this world because the grass is really nice, it's swaying around, it's really comfy.
Right.
It's like a really gentle breeze, and you might even notice like a calming sort of.
That's understandable.
But yeah, when you're ready, if that's something you would like to do, then, well, I would ask, before we start going kind of into a really deep sort of trance together.
On the surface, these sessions seemed like quirky, immersive roleplay, but as we'll see, they were a gateway to a far more troubling behavior. Her channel was niche, with videos that didn't exactly light up the algorithm, but she had a presence in furry circles, particularly on Twitter, where she ran a After Dark account posting NSFW art, including cub art depicting young furries in intimate scenarios with older ones. In late 2021, Sappho dropped a bombshell, a YouTube video where she openly declared herself a zoophile, specifically attracted to dogs like German shepherds, and stated she had no interest in humans. First off, note that she's not saying that her fursona is a zoophile, a cord kid who attributed all his weirdness to his fursona like it was another side of the same person. Sappho admits that as a person, a human person, she has no desire for humans, and that she is attracted to animals, dogs particularly. One thing about Sappho's story is that she's quite audacious. She likened the disgust for zoophilia to the pushback that the LGBT community received in the early days.
That many of you, even if you can't imagine it now, if you were growing up in the 1960s and were being fed all of the news and social propaganda about how gay people should stay in the closet, how it's unnatural and against nature, a lot of you would probably be anti-gay, anti-LGBT. And that's just how it is.
In her video, she makes a distinction between zoophiles and other members of the community who assault animals, calling themselves rapists and best.
And to be 100% clear, I am not like that. Most of the zoo community is also not like that and utterly despises it. People who force animals into situations they don't want physically and through other means, are completely deplorable and seen as racist. Playing with an animal that is not mature is like the equivalent of pedophilia, and it's treated as such. I do not support those people, and they do not deserve the same title.
She referred to ethical zoos and Zeta principles, Zeta standing for Zoophiles Engagement for Tolerance and Acceptance, attempting to distinguish herself from zoo sadists like Kiro the Wolf, a notorious figure linked to animal abuse.
And those principles are: bestow upon animals the same kindness one would wish bestowed upon oneself. Consider the well-being of an animal companion as important as one's own. Place the animal's will and well-being ahead of one's desires, sexual gratification. Teach those who seek knowledge about zoophilia and bestiality without promoting it. Discourage the practice of bestiality in the presence of fetish seekers. Censor exploitation of animals for the purpose of financial gain, and censor those who practice and promote animal sexual abuse.
Sappho's self-given license to have physical relations with animals was rooted in a very obvious case of self-delusion. She insisted her attraction was rooted in love and consent, a claim that fell flat with anyone grounded in reality.
Hypothetically speaking, I would see my partner or my mate as an equal to myself. Everything would be out of love, care, and affection for their wellness and well-being. It would not be to serve myself and my desires.
Saying something with a calm and soothing voice with as much logic as you can muster does not automatically make it sensible. There is a clear definition of who a zoophile is, and it's not changing because one person has an inordinate desire to be involved with animals. The idea that an animal can consent to relations with a human based on the emotion of love is in itself a very baseless argument. For many animals, this is instinctive. For dogs, it's very much the case. There are enough videos on the internet where dogs randomly mate with themselves when they've not known themselves for even up to 5 minutes. Or do we talk about the many stories of dog owners who have said that they just found out their dogs were pregnant and they were not aware of how it happened? Those cannot be the same animals that any sound person should say can consent to such unholy relations. Unfortunately, Sappho is not one of those sound humans, as you've seen so far.
And my view on it is that if my mate came up to me, loved me, and wanted something more in that moment, why would I deny them that need? I want to care for their well-being and help them feel good. At the same time, if the animal is uncomfortable or walks away, that's a no. That's a do not continue. That's a I do not consent.
One of her arguments was that a mature dog could not in any way be compared to a toddler who is very obviously immature.
Opinion, it's a bad faith argument. I don't think you can compare a sexually mature animal to a not immature human. I think it's bad faith.
Unfortunately, even that argument can be and has been scientifically put to rest. Dr. Jill Sackman, who's a clinician in behavioral medicine and a senior medical director with a PhD in molecular and cellular biology, says that dogs definitely can think, but that they probably have the level of cognition of a 3 to 5-year-old human. So except we're able to take the claims of an unenlightened YouTuber over the research of someone in the veterinary field, it's safe to say that zoophiles can very well be equated in deeds to pedophiles. The video, her most viewed, sparked immediate outrage. Furries were quick to condemn her, with many only learning about her through the backlash. On Reddit pages, you'd readily see questions like, who is Sappho? Literally who? Divided in knowledge, united in anger and disgust. The backlash was immediate and intense. Furries, already a group that faces stereotypes, were horrified that Sappho's actions could further tarnish their reputation. Commenters expressed disgust, with one writing, listen, we furries might wanna animals that stand on 2 legs, but animals that stand on all 4? Why, that's just terrible. One commenter wrote, I'm part of the furry community, and we're doing everything in our power to make sure she's dead brutally, like Mexican chainsaw brutal. But Sappho didn't back down. Instead, she leaned into the controversy, using it to build a following among a niche group of like-minded individuals. Her Twitter account, both main and NSFW, were suspended on December 18, 2021. In response, she created a Mastodon instance, zetamu.club, which she shut down by January 6, 2022, redirecting to Zaffo.rip, where she announced killing off her Hypnotist Sappho persona. Digging deeper, it became clear that Zaffo's YouTube account was just the tip of a much larger, more disturbing iceberg. Thanks to the meticulous work of users on Kiwi Farms, a forum known for archiving internet controversies, a detailed picture of her activities emerged. In the summer of 2021, Sappho was heavily active on VRChat, where she conducted her hypnosis sessions. These weren't just playful simulations. Leaked messages revealed that Sappho derived sexual gratification from them, a kink she initially downplayed as mere roleplay. Just got one with some very pleasant nuances. Did some therapy, and then things just kind of happened, and suddenly fractioned them a few times doing erotic hypnosis. Had someone writing and moaning my name as they came, and the other was trained up with a word that makes them feel deeply aroused, like a nice filling knot is gently pressing in and out. She frequently furry-themed VR chat servers like Furry Talk and Chill, where she'd connect with users, add them on Discord, and engage in explicit roleplay. One such user was a 16-year-old named Gray. Sappho, then 21, initiated conversations with Gray over Discord, which escalated to simulated sexual acts in VRChat. When Gray later recognized the inappropriateness of these interactions, given the 5-year age gap, word spread within the community. Server admins alerted to Sappho's behavior with a minor, banned her from VRChat and its associated Discord servers. But these bans were a slap on the wrist. She faced no real consequences and simply moved on to create her own space. That space was Mama Sappho's hypnotherapy server on Discord, advertised as a community for furries and hypnosis enthusiasts, but quickly revealed to be a hub for explicit content. If you look closely, you'll see that all this server was about was NSFW content. Disturbingly, this server had an age requirement of just 13 and up, with NSFW channels supposedly restricted to those 18 and older. Sappho claimed to verify IDs for access, but evidence showed otherwise. In this interaction between two server moderators, Matcha seemed rather disappointed and concerned that a server built on Sappho's influence from a previous platform that was strictly for people aged 18 and above. In his words, "I'll be honest, the fact that this isn't 18 plus was a big shock to me, considering that Sappho built a lot of her audience out of hypnofurs, an explicitly 18 plus community. It's just a bit scary that hypnotists who are not hypnotherapists would accept minors. I feel like the line between SFW and NSFW in this server is too blurred to justify minors being in the server." Basically, not only did she further her unsettling ambition to indoctrinate minors into a world they should never have been a part of at such ages, she put together a community of people just like her, who saw no wrong in doing just that. A 17-year-old moderator named Blue had access to NSFW chats, including one called NSFW Feral, which featured illustrations of bestiality, such as non-anthropomorphic dogs in explicit scenarios. The server's environment raised red flags, especially after a moderator named Matcha resigned and posted a twitlonger on September 8, 2021, exposing Sappho's support for zoophilia. Matcha described disturbing content in the NSFW Feral channel, including a drawing of a dog assaulting a human in a non-consensual scenario. When Matcha questioned Sappho about her views, she admitted to supporting zoophiles, claiming they were misunderstood and unfairly conflated with sadists. Because of the horrible stuff that happened with zoos, people conflate zoophiles with sadists and fetishists. Why? I have my opinions on the matter. She also sent Matcha a link to the Zooer Than Thou podcast, a platform where zoophiles openly discuss their attraction to animals. This podcast, still available on YouTube at the time, was a cesspool of delusional and graphic content, with episodes dedicated to topics like coming out as a zoophile. When this was happening, she attempted to deny the facts, stating that these accusations were a lie. Many of these receipts are either insane speculation, forged, or hearsay. I still don't see hard evidence to back any claims made. And the fact that a 17-year-old Canadian who had head moderator privileges got access to those chats is a yawn at best. Also, no NSFW zoo content has ever been present on that server unless you stretch the meaning of feral furry artwork. Making such a claim for a server that had active practicing zoophiles as members, where all the groups were also NSFW groups, is a very bold move if we're being honest. It would take someone trying to give her the benefit of the doubt to actually believe that. Macho's exposé, backed by DM evidence, confirmed Sappho's active promotion of these ideas within her community, which included minors. Sappho's behavior didn't stop at zoophilia. By late 2021, allegations of minors surfaced, painting an even darker picture. She had a pattern of engaging with young users, some as young as 13, on Discord and TikTok. When Sappho joined Twitter, she initially marked her account as 18 plus to share NSFW content about German Shepherds. Later, she discreetly removed the 18 plus only label from her bio and started engaging with minors who admired her, referring to herself as Mama Sappho and presenting it as her duty to guide them into a world of use against animals. One notable case involved a 16-year-old named Kylo, with whom Sappho was openly flirtatious on X. On Twitter, they had many notable disturbing interactions that prompted other users to react to what was going on. Glad to know that the kid who got bit by a dog that he fondled while babysitting it is giving the face down at Sappho on her avatar. Sappho, what are you doing? The kid is 16 years old. You've admitted that you're attracted to dogs, and now there are posts about how you're a mother figure when talking about zoo pride. Hope you're prepared for the backlash to come your way. This won't end well for you. Sappho and Kylo both denied the suspicions and allegations that they were romantically involved with each other. Kylo even threatened to ban members on the server who brought up the topic. If I was dating Sappho, other people who were friends with her would know about it. She'd tell people like Becca or Jesse, but she didn't, because guess what? We aren't dating. I'm not about to get harassed on here about that. I already have to deal with that stuff on Twitter, and I'm a moderator. If you say anything or sorts, I will have you permanently banned, whether you're a zoo or not. Despite all the denials from both Sappho and Kylo that nothing was going on between them, leaked DMs revealed they were in a romantic relationship. Kylo expressed fear of their parent discovering the relationship. I'm decently stressed. I'm mostly worried about getting doxxed and getting outed to my parent as a zoo, and people telling her I'm dating an adult. There are a lot of awful rumors about me, and if my mother or father were to find out about all of it, I'd get kicked out or moved back to my abuser's house, put in an inpatient. To deflect suspicion, Sappho claimed to be dating another community member named Becca the Husky, but Kylo publicly confirmed their relationship, releasing DMs that showed they'd exchanged explicit images. Perhaps the most manipulative incident involved Sappho's claim in December 2021 that a 13-year-old follower named Julia had taken her life due to harassment from zoo haters. She posted emotional X threads mourning Julia, using the tragedy to rally her followers and vilify her critics. Just yesterday, you apologized to me for bothering me, that you thought I was a cool person and that you liked my voice and I didn't respond. There is a reason we are doing what we are doing, to stop the harassment and bullying that leads to this. Julia, rest well now. In another post she wrote, I'm going to be attending Julia's funeral. To the people still saying it's fake or my fault somehow, I cared about them. They felt motivated, happy, and accepted for the fact that they had people to talk to about their feelings. And then Antis ended up causing her death. But the story unraveled when Julia's TikTok account posted that she was alive. Sappho's claim that she would attend Julia's funeral was absurd, especially given the lack of evidence of any death. Critics on Kiwi Farms and X speculated that Sappho fabricated this story as outrage bait to paint her detractors as monsters, a tactic consistent with her manipulative persona. Sappho's rhetoric took an even more alarming turn when she began questioning age of consent laws and expressing open-mindedness toward MAPS, a term used by some to rebrand pedophilia. In a lengthy X thread, she admitted to being attracted to some though she'd claimed her partners were older and described herself as a nurturing motherly figure. She also created an alternate X account to share graphic zoo art, including cub material, depictions of young animals and contexts, which was accessible to her young followers. This content, combined with her interactions with others, led to her X account being mass-reported and permanently suspended. Undeterred, Sappho moved to Mastodon, creating an invite-only community where she could speak more freely about her views on zoophilia and minors. Leaked interactions showed her doubling down with no regard for the growing backlash. She even founded an organization called Zeta North America, aiming to promote inclusivity and tolerance for zoophiles, citing the Stonewall riots as inspiration. The organization collapsed quickly due to infighting and failure to register as a legitimate entity, but it underscored her ambition to normalize her beliefs. Mainstream attention eventually caught up. An Input.com article highlighted the overlap between zoophilia and pedophilia, noting that nearly a third of best arrests involved child sexual abuse. Sappho's teenage fan base, some of whom called her mommy and credited her as inspiration for their own zoophilia, raised serious concerns. Her community included who engaged in harm, allegedly in her name, and she faced accusations of grooming. She claimed to be entering a psych ward, a statement met with skepticism given her history of lying. Some users discovered her Facebook page, partially doxing her, and there were unverified claims that her actions as a military member were reported to her Air Force superiors, potentially leading to a court-martial. The drama peaked when Sappho posted on August 6, 2022, via her channel's community tab, claiming she planned to attempt suicide. Some fans urged her to seek help, while others suspected it was a ploy to escape her tarnished persona. There's no evidence she followed through, and her online presence fizzled out. The furry community's response was mixed. Some argued it showed they could call out bad actors, while others, like those on Reddit, pointed out that niche figures like Sappho often fly under the radar until their actions go viral. Her case highlighted the fandom's struggle to police itself, especially when zoophiles like Sappho overlap with other controversial figures, like Coyote Lovely, who reportedly defended her despite his own allegations of predatory behavior. Sappho's story is an example of how the furry fandom's openness can attract deeply troubling individuals, but all the people we've covered so far are not all there are. In fact, these cases are just the tip of a much darker iceberg. In the next video, we'll be diving into the controversial legacies of Foxer Nightfire, JSONeffects, and a few others whose names alone send waves through the community. If there's anybody you want us to cover in the next video, let us know in the comments.